What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Chart Slayer here from chartslayer.com, bringing you business, lifestyle, and investing, and much more. And what I'm going to be teaching you guys today is how to swing trade. Now, I was discussing this with my team, Trade Syndicate, Z Trader. We are blowing it up in the chats. If you want to be a part of the free chat, Trade Syndicate, definitely click the link below and chartslayer.com. Immediate button right in front of you. If you want to be a part of the team and actually get taught by a mentor like myself and my business partner, definitely also click the button below on chartslayer.com and click mentorship. So let's go ahead and get right into it and teach you how to swing trade. All right. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys are ready to learn how to swing trade. I'm going to be going over a couple points I wrote down. So I want to make sure you guys can 100% see what I'm talking about today. Like I said. Okay. Also, we almost in July. Y'all better look. We only got how many weeks we got left? Is that 2 weeks? Do we have 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks till our boot camp is live? Okay, so make sure you guys get your tickets. That's the first thing I'm gonna say. Make sure you guys get your tickets. Make sure you guys get your boot camp tickets. Chartslayer.com. Now let's go ahead and get this popping. What is swing trading, right? I feel like that's the question that I get all the time. What's the swing trading? What is swing trading and how do you swing trade? Right? So first thing, what is swing trading? Pretty much to give it a little bit of a difference between what swing trading is to scalping and day trading. Swing trading is ultimately holding trades between 1 day to 30 days. It could be weeks, it can be months, depending on the trade, right? But you're holding trades longer, right? Intraday is usually with you're in and out of the trade within the day. So you're no longer in the trade, it doesn't matter if you win or lost. When that day is over, you're out, right? Scalping is obviously within minutes, maybe a couple hours, right? But that's literally what swing trading is: holding trades for over a day, up to 30 days and on, right? So that's what swing trading is. Also, swing trading is pretty much, let's go over a couple points on what exactly you need to pay attention to when you're swing trading, right? The first thing you need to pay attention to is your position sizing, means your lot size. That's what you need to pay attention to. If you have $100 in your account, you need to be doing 0.01 no matter what. You do not go up. You do not go, you can't go lower. So you cannot go, you have to go 0.01. Okay, put a 2 in the chat if that makes sense. You have to go 0.01. Put a 2 in the chat, 0.01 if you understand, okay? Put a 2 in the chat if you guys understand that you need to go 0.01 if you have $100 in your account. It's just that, it's that plain and simple. Don't overthink it. We're not about to question it. It's just, that's what it is. Because in order for you to swing trade, in order for you to hold trades longer, your position size has to be lower, right? Meaning that you get low risk. The thing is, when it comes to scalping, when it comes to intraday trading, your risk is higher. The only thing we can do in trading, period, is control our risk. Our profit is endless, but the only thing we can do is control our risk. So if the only thing I can do is control my risk, I want my risk to be as low as possible. I want you guys to really understand what I'm saying. I want the risk to be as low as possible. So if the risk is low as possible, then that means I need to have a 0.01 lot size. I mean, it's just that simple. I need to have a 0.01 lot size if I'm wanting to swing trade. And let me be more specific. That's just if you have $100 in your account. Let me be more specific. You need to have 1% risk. You need to use 1% risk as your position size. Some people might have $500. Some people might have 200, right? So if you have 200, then it'll be a 0.02. If you have 500, it'll be a 0.05, right? But at the end of the day, you are using 1% of your account, and that's the goal. So everybody put in the chat 1%. Put in the chat 1%. Put 1% in the chat. I want everybody to understand what I'm saying right now. Put 1% in the chat. 1%. Put that in the chat. 1%. Perfect. that if you guys want to learn how to swing trade, that's what you need to do. You need to get comfortable with using 1%. I promise you, you will grow your account. I've already showed you, if you guys were on the lives with me, you can grow your account with 1% risk. I promise you, you can. Right? So next thing, when it comes to swing trading, right, it's more relaxing. We always say you should be relaxed in general, but especially with swing trading, you're more relaxed than probably every other type of swing trading, right? You're super relaxed. You're just taking the trade and going about your day, right? So currently I'm in GJ and I'm in CAD Swiss franc. They pulled back. I'm not worried about it. I'm still going about my day. If it hits my stop, it hits my stop. If it hits my TP, it hits my TP. It's just the only direction it can go to. Accept the risk, right? With swing trading, you have to accept the risk before you just get into a trade. No, I'm not going over any pairs. But when it comes to swing trading, you have to 100%, and no questions asked, you have to just accept the risk. It's either going to hit TP or it's going to hit your stop loss. And that's something you have to pay attention to when it comes to trading. You have to accept that risk altogether, no matter what, right? So the next thing, right? A lot of you always say, okay, how do you swing trade? What do you do? What time frames do you specifically go on? You always want, when it comes to swing trading, all of your lower time frames have to be in line with the higher time frames. So if, and you always hear this, the trend is your friend. So if you have the weekly saying that you're in a downtrend, then the lower time frames, you need to be taking nothing but sales. It's that simple, right? A lot of people say, oh, well, which time frame do you enter it? It doesn't matter which time frame you enter, as long as you're in the right direction, right? As long as you're in the right direction, it doesn't matter what time frame you specifically enter on. I enter specifically on the 1 hour, between the 4 hour and the 15 minute, depending on the trade, between the 4 hour and the 15 minute. Last 2 weeks, every single trade I entered on the 4 hour. Today, I entered on the 1 hour. 3 weeks ago, I entered a trade on the 15 minute or the 30 minute. I can't remember, right? But no matter what, it doesn't matter which which time frame you choose, as long as it's in line with the higher time frames. So let's revamp your question. Instead of you saying, which time frame should I enter? Oh, well, which time frame should I focus on that's in line with the higher time frames? That's the question you should ask. Should I be in line with the higher time frames? And that's the yes, you should be in line with the higher time frames. Now, a lot of you guys always say, well, how many pips should you go for? You should always, for swing traders, I always go for at least 100 plus pips. If it doesn't give me 100 pips, I'm not interested, right? It's just that serious. And this goes with the risk to reward. When it comes to swing trading, you want to have at least a 2-to-1 risk to reward, right? At least a 2-to-1. Me personally, I go by no less than 3-to-1, because for me, it's more of, if I win a trade, I'm winning three times the amount of my stop loss. That means if I lose twice, I'm still in profit. I would have to lose 4 times in order for me to be negative. From winning one trade, I need to lose 4 times. I really want you guys to understand, 4 times in order for me to actually lose a trade. 4 times, right? So, the larger your risk to reward, the bigger profit you make, right? So you always want to focus on what profit margin, what risk to reward and profit margin you want to make, right? Because at the end of the day, your profit margin is what's going to determine, really, if you take a loss, how many losses it will take for you to be negative, right? Like I just said, if I have a 3-to-1 ratio, I have to lose 4 times in order for me to lose the trade. All right. So next thing, right? We don't trade on dead markets, right? And what is a dead market? A dead market is something that's choppy. Now, everything I'm showing you, I'm going to be showing you on the charts. Okay. But I want to make sure you guys are taking notes. Make sure you have pen and paper. Make sure you're taking notes. If you guys aren't, this should automatically be anytime you're on these sessions, you should be taking notes. So never trade on dead markets. So dead markets is choppy markets, right? They're choppy. So what does choppy look like? Wicks all over the place, and indecision, not knowing if you want to go into a buy or go into a sell. That's pretty much what choppiness looks like. And like I said, I'm going to show you guys these on the chart. Now, the next thing that you want to focus on when it comes to swing trading is candlestick formations as well as patterns, right? Usually on the 4-hour and 1-hour time frame, I focus on the patterns, right? Which patterns do I see? Do I see an expanding formation? Do I see a flag? Do I see a channel? Do I see a head and shoulder? Do I see a double bottom? Do I see a double top? Doesn't matter, right? As long as you see your pattern that you go for, I always recommend going for at least 2 to 3 patterns that work for you, that resonates with your personality, right? Me personally, the ones that work for me are expanding formations, channels, and flags. Those are the trades that work for me, right? A lot of people on here might like head and shoulders the most, might like double tops and double bottoms the most, right? M's, W's, whatever the case may be. Whatever that works for you is what's going to profit you when it comes to swing trading, right? Think about all the trades you won. How did you win them? What patterns did you see when they were won? Those are the ones you should probably use if you don't know which patterns you like, right? So those are the that's one way of actually that's one way that you actually need to focus on. The other way is candlesticks. I was talking about this earlier this morning. The only candlesticks that I personally focus on are like star formations, like shooting star, evening star, morning star. I also focus on pin bars as well as engulfing candles. Those are really the only candlesticks that I focus on. Stars, pin bars, candlesticks. That's it, right? I don't overthink my trades. I don't know. I just focus on those. If I see it, I take it. If I see it, I take it. If I see it, I take it. As you guys saw today, I saw it engulfing. I took it. I mean, it's just that simple. I saw it engulfing. I took it. Right. So also when it comes to swing trading, your job is to buy at the dips and sell at the peaks. Okay. And what that means is you buy low and sell high. Right. So you always want to keep this in mind, because if you're buying at a high, then all you're going to do is lose. Okay. If you're buying at a high, then you're just going to lose. But if you buy at a low, you have a lot more profit, right? Think about it. I'm buying here and the ceiling is my profit. But if I buy at the ceiling, then all it's going to do is drop down back to the floor, right? So you just have to think about these things when you're trading, because it has to make sense. Doesn't matter if you're a break or retest trader, right? You do have to figure out those two things before you even decide if you're a swing trader or not. You need to decide if you want to be a breakout trader or a retest trader, right? But that's on a whole different topic. All right, so like I said, we look for pullbacks and retracements, reversals, whatever the case you want to call it. That's what we look for as swing traders, okay? We look for these specific things in order for us to actually get in trades. Gator, if you can't see me, try getting back out and getting back in, or unshare and share your screen. Put a 2 in the chat if you can see my screen. Put a 2 in the chat if you can see my screen. All right, cool. So yeah, Gator, if you can't see, you might have to come back out.
I'm about to go out and come back in. I'm gonna go out and come back in. All right.
Cool. So, like I said, those are the things you want to focus on. Karen, you might need to come back out and go back in. So, oh, you see me. Yeah, of course. That's what I'm talking about. Just me. So, where was I at? Oh, swing trading as well. You want to, sorry about that. You want to, what swing trading is really, really good at is it helps with adapting to your lifestyle. So if you work 12, 16-hour shifts or 8, 12-hour shifts, swing trading is the thing for you, because you don't have to look at the market. You just need to take the trade at a certain point or whenever your setup occurs, and then just go on about your day. Like I said, it's important for you guys to realize that swing trading is a lot more flexible than it is with any other lifestyle or any other type of trading, right? It's a lot more flexible because you don't have to look at your charts at all, right? You don't have to look at your charts at all. And that's important because you don't want trading to get in the way of your life or your schedule. You want it to mesh with your life smoothly. So yeah, you want swing trading is definitely is easier when it comes to adapting to lifestyle. Also, the most important thing though when it comes to trading is your management as well as patience, right? A lot of you know how I manage. I'll show you guys again if you don't know. But the way that I manage is dealing with trailing and stop losses. There's hundreds and millions of ways on how to actually manage your trading. The one that I specifically am going to teach you today is dealing with trailing and stop loss, as well as, if you want to just go with, hitting, from stop loss or entry to TP. I'll show you guys what I mean, right? But management is the key to swing trading. If you don't know how to manage your trades, then you will not know how to swing trade. Okay? If you cannot manage your trades, you will not know how to swing trade. How do we put in several TPs to? You can't put in several TPs. There's only one TP, at least on your MetaTrader 4. If you're talking about drawing lines on your chart, then you can just draw lines on your chart. Set them as alerts or something. But that's just the way that you do it. Yeah, you in MetaTrader 4, you only can put in one TP. Right? You only put in one TP. That's alerts. So you just add alerts to your screen. That's all you do. All you do is add alerts to your screen. All right. So what was our? I think that was it. Oh, yeah. So like I said, swing trading is super, super important if you have a low account. If you're trying to grow an account, if you're trying to compound your account, it's super easy to actually grow. Right now, my account is around 350-ish, right? I'm going to deposit more money. The more capital you have, the more money you're able to make. So anytime that I get some extra capital on a daily basis, I try to always put it in my trading account, because the more, like I said, the more you have, the more capital you're able to use, the more money you're able to make. So you guys saw yesterday I had around 230, 250-ish around there. Now I have around 350-ish. So I put in around $100, and then I'm about to put in another $100 because now I want to be able to use 0.04, which is a 1% lot size, and then I'm going to be able to grow my account a lot quicker with a lot more oomph to it, right? So like I said, you always want to, when it comes to swing trading, the secret of swing trading is management and compounding, right? So when it comes to, what do I mean by compounding and growth, right? Growing is definitely just putting in trades, right? Growing your account. Compounding is growing your account while adding money to it, right? It's just like having a spreadsheet, right? Where you have a certain lot size and you keep going and you add, and you grow money. That's just the growing aspect, right? But what about the compounding aspect? Or we always talk about a growth chart here and there, but you also have to, in order for you to scale your account the way you want to, it's going to be a while. It's going to take forever for you to just grow an account. But to scale an account, there's a difference from scaling and growing and compounding, right? Compounding and scaling is the same. Compounding is when you're adding money to your account on a consistent basis, where you're able to not only build your account up, but when you're actually trading, that grows it and compounds it at the same time. And what that does is, when you're growing and compounding, that's where you scale your account from that 100 to 1,000, to that 1,000 to 10,000. That's how you gain those consistent wins, those consistent withdrawals that you're wanting to do. When you have 1,000 to like 10,000 in your account, that's time you can withdraw for real, right? Because you're making hundreds on a daily basis if you're doing it correctly, right? So you want to scale your account where it makes sense, right? The goal is to scale your account. Literally by the end of the week, my account should be at 1,000. Not only from depositing, as well as actually growing it growing it exponentially on how I trade. Like I said, I only trade on total, right? 1% per trade, 3% total trades, meaning that I only have 3 trades open at a time in my account. I do not exceed it at all. I have other accounts for that, right? If you want to have another account where you want to get rich quick, in a sense, where you want to just, boom, let me just see if I can scale 20 to 1 million, by all means, you have a separate account. But you need to have an account where you compound, grow, and scale, right? That's the point of swing trading, is to compound, grow, and scale. I don't care about any other accounts that you have, and we're talking about what's going to be here long term. You want to be here long term with your trading. Okay, that's the whole goal, right? Diamond was just talking about she flips $20 accounts to deposit into her big account, right? If look, I want you to what she said. I don't think you guys really thought was powerful because it's super powerful. Okay, all the time. I mean all the time. I'm pretty sure you guys can grow $20 to $100, right? But what if you can grow $20 to $100 10 times? Now you have 1,000. Right? If you grow $20 to $100, you put 80 in another account. $20 to $100 again, put 80 in another account. Now you have 160. $20 to $100. Now you grow it. Boom. Now and you just keep doing it. Eventually, this is compounding, right? She's growing her account and putting it in another account, the bigger account, and then she's growing that account. That's compounding and scaling. It's just different ways in doing it. Right? So you guys have to just think about what ways can you grow, compound, and scale your account at the same time without much work. That's the point of swing trading. It's relaxing. You don't have to do any work at all. You just literally let it sit there and do its thing. If it hits your stop loss, hit your stop loss. If it hits your TP, it hits your TP. It is what it is. You just have to let it work. Let it do its thing. Right? So now let's get to the charts. It's going to be real quick when it comes to the charts. Like I said, I wanted to go ahead and get those things out the way so you guys can actually know what swing trading is, what you can do to actually grow your account. So let's talk about your account when it comes to on the chart, right? So let's talk about the chart real quick because swing trading is
at the end.
What did you say?
Questions now or at the end?
At the end.
Okay, cool.
So at 2:40, you guys are able to ask me questions. 2:40 in literally 9 minutes. I just want to be able to explain to you what swing trading is, because swing trading is a very common question, right? And this won't be the last time you guys hear about swing trading. I'm going to be doing like a whole series on YouTube on how to swing trade. I'm also going to be on here teaching you guys how to swing trade. Right. So I want to be able to actually what I'll do is I'll post this on my YouTube. Kill two birds with one stone. I'll post this on my YouTube for the recording. Right. So let's go ahead and get this popping. Right. So when it comes to swing trading, this is what you're looking for. Right. I always get the question of, okay, well, what time frame do you start when it comes to, top down analysis, when it comes to, making sure that your lower time frames match with your higher time frames. So this is what you do. You pick a time frame, either the daily, weekly, or the monthly. For me personally, I pick between whichever one. It doesn't matter what it is. I usually pick the weekly because that's the middle between the daily and the monthly, right? Instead of me just choosing, stop, it's 3 time frames, I don't know what to do. Just pick the middle, right? So I'll pick the middle, I do the weekly. And then from there, as you can see, I identified my support and then my resistance and then identified my trend, right? Obviously, we're in this channel, so I drew this line here just to identify that we're in this channel, right? But I identified my support, my resistance, and then I went ahead and drew and identified what trend we're in. So obviously, we are in if we were to really be specific, we're in a downtrend. Right? If we start on the monthly, right? If you really want to start on the monthly, we're in a downtrend, right? And or if you just want to be super technical, we have our impulse, our correction, and what we're looking for is our continuation down, right? So we're literally all time for everything is screaming sell, right? So now it's just a matter of how to get in, right? And obviously swing trading, you want to use in conjunction with technicals, right? So you would use your technicals first, then swing trade second, because you don't swing trade until you actually get into the trade. So, and you also have to think, okay, well, the market moves. I said the weekly, the market moves in waves, right? So if this is an impulse, what has to be next? A pullback, right? So what we're expecting, because this is such a steep impulse, is we're expecting a pullback. And how do we know this is a steep impulse? We see from the daily that this just completely fell, and on the weekly that this just completely fell with no form of major pullback like this. Like this is a healthy pullback, right? That's a pullback that we're looking for. These are waves that we need in the market in order for it to continue. These didn't really form waves. You had like a minor impulse and then it completely tanked again. Minor correct, like it just completely tanked the whole time, right? So now it's just a matter of, are we going to get that daily or weekly pullback, right, or retracement for us to get into that sell again, right? And if we were to use fibs, this is just to be a little advanced to know how far, if this were to drop all the way down to this low, right? This is our 61.8 level, right? What does that mean? That means we're expecting price to at least come up here. Okay, that's all that means. We're just expecting price to come up there. That's a little bit too advanced. That's something we're going to be going over on our boot camp. So if you want to learn how to use fibs, like I said, we're going to be talking about it. So now we go to the 4 hour, right? The 4 hour is when we talk about how we get into the trade. It's how we talk about identifying patterns. Now, if we were identifying this drop, right, we need to wait for some form of correction, right, for us to be in the line for this sell. Remember, the weekly is saying downtrend. So that means that we need to find every possible scenario for us to sell, right? And like I said, after an impulse, there's a correction. So this was our correction for us to take for this sell. Now remember, you sell at the high and you buy at the low. If we're in the downtrend, we're selling at the peaks. Now, what are our peaks? Right, our peak levels are here, 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 and here. These areas are the levels that we want to sell. Right? These are the areas that we want to sell. Right? This is what we're looking for. We're looking to sell at these areas. Now it's just a matter of how to sell at these areas. Right? So we identified our pattern. Now from the 4 hour, right? Any time frame that you identify the pattern on, you drop 1 to 2 time frames down. One of the two. It's your preference. It's up to you. The lower the time frame, the tighter your entry, the tighter your stop loss. The bigger the time frame, the broader your entry, but the bigger the reward, right? As well as the bigger the risk, right? So you just have to think about what's best for you. Like I said, the only thing you can control is your risk. So you have to make a decision, right? So if we're on the 4 hour, and I'm pretty sure everybody in their head is like, well, I would drop to the lowest time frame to make the lowest amount of risk. Then let's drop to the lowest time frame. What's lower than the 4 hour, right? What's the 1 to 2 time frames? 4 hour, what's next? 1 hour and 30 minute, right? So then let's go to the 30 minute and see if we can actually enter into this trade. Right, so if price came up here and we're looking to sell at this peak level, then this is where it goes back to, you need candlestick formations in order for you to actually enter into a trade. Remember, it's patterns first, then candles, right? When it comes to dropping down time frames. And so patterns is for you to know where you are, as well as identifying the trend. This is to know when to do something and to know where you are. Candlesticks is to know when to enter. Okay, there's a difference. There's a difference. Okay, so like I said, let's go ahead and talk about the candlestick formations. What candlestick formations do we see here? We see a nice pin bar. Right, so we could technically sell at this pin bar entry. Now, if you guys don't know your candlesticks, download the JCP app. The JCP is Japanese Candlestick Patterns, right? That's the app you want to download when it comes to learning your candlestick formations. You have to know that when it comes to entering. So like I said, these are the things that you want to pay attention to. Now, what about the length of time, right? What about the swing trading time? This took, if we entered at that point, from here to this low, it took 510 pips. That took 11 days. 11 days. 11 whole days. Now it's just a matter of entering into letting it run. Right? Now I always say, I always manage on the 1 hour. Right? That's just, like I said, I always manage on the 1 hour. So you guys have to make that decision on what time frame you want to manage on. Me personally, I have 3 different ways that I manage the trade depending on how many pips I'm aiming for. If it's 100, 200 pips, I'm managing on the 1 hour. If it's 3 to 5, maybe 1,000 pips, I'm managing. It's going back and forth depending on the pair, but mostly on the 4 hour, right? So you just want to make sure that you have different styles in how you trade, right? So, like I said, if we entered here, right, the pin bar was somewhere around there, and what we do, this is what we do, right? If price was dropping, right, this is, like I said, this is the way that I trade. Right? I trade by TPs and by structure, right? I trade by TPs and by structure, right? So my TP1 would be here. So technically, because if my stop loss was up here, I would move my stop here, and technically I'd be stopped out, right? But this is why I would have entered back in. I would have seen, and actually we did enter into this trade, right? I believe we did. I would have seen, we entered this. I would have seen that this was coming up here correctively, right? Consolidation, right? You want to pay attention when it comes to swing trading to how price enters an area, not just because of the candlestick. How did it enter the area? That's the point of identifying a pattern. You're identifying what did it present to you? Did it present to you that it's coming up aggressively? Is it a whole bunch of red or a whole bunch of green? Or is it an even amount of green and reds here? That means it came up here correctively, right? So it knocked me out, right? It knocked me out at break even, which is fine. I didn't lose, right? I didn't lose the trade. But this is where I use my candlesticks again. I'm looking to enter, right? I already identified that this is a pattern. Remember, we identify a pattern on the lower time frames. So, not on lower time frames, on the 4 hour and 1 hour. So I identified this pattern here. All right, I want to make sure you guys are understanding me. We identified this pattern here. Any time frame that I draw the pattern on, I drop down 1 to 2 time frames. So 1 to 2 time frames from there is either the 30-minute or the 15, right? The lower the time frame, the less amount of risk, right? So let's go on the 15-minute. I know you guys like as less risk as possible because you guys don't want to lose your money, right? So let's go here. Now I'm looking for candlestick patterns for me to actually enter into the trade. So what candlestick pattern do I see? If I come up here, I see a pin bar, but that's not enough for me to take the trade. I need to see some form of a little bit of consolidation, right? I see this pattern here inside of a pattern. Then I see another pin bar. So that would have been my entry, right? Why this one and not that one? Because all price could have did is exactly what it did. Pulled back and went back up, right? But if you see 2 in the same area, right? If we were to draw a resistance line here, remember, even though you're looking for a candlestick, you're still needing to look for some form of resistance level, some form of rejection, not once, but twice, right? So we have a rejection here. So because of this rejection candle, of this high test candle, this pin bar, this is where I would have entered, right? So I would have entered here, stop loss above here, right? Go back to the 1 hour because that's how I manage. And then we identify my level. We identify the levels again. So this is TP1. This is TP2. And then I would say this is TP3, right? So price came here. Boom, I'm moving my stop to break even. Price never came and hit my stop. Never came and hit my stop. And it dropped again to TP2. Now I'm trailing my stop above this high. Boom, came back down, and I'm still trailing it. trail, trail. So at this point, right, price knocks me out. Right? Price knocks me out. That's a winning trade. So we caught break even here, and then we caught 155 pips here. That's a winning trade. Like I said, I only take 3 positions in my trading account. Picture taking this with 2 more positions, 3 total. 155 times 3. What is that? 155 times 3. That's 465 pips. That means you made $46.50. Now, let's say with my $300 account, I took this trade with the 0.03 lot size, right? So 155 times 3 times 0.3. That's $140 just off this one trade with 3 positions. $140. Come on now. It can't get better than this. $140 off 3 positions off this one trade. This is exactly how I trade. Right? So you just want to think about these things as you're swing trading. And it's just patience. Right? You're just waiting. You're just letting it run. I want you guys to really understand. It's for some of you guys, it's hard for you to just let trades go. Just let it go. Don't touch it. My goal is, what I do is I don't let trades. I don't even look at my trade for at least a day. At least I take trades on a New York session, so I don't look at the trades till next New York session, or at least try not to. Sometimes if I'm on these charts like you guys, I'll look at them, but I won't really be fazed by it. So, but in honesty, you have to let them play out. As a swing trader, you have to let them play out. You have to let them play out. But that's everything that I have for you today. Do you guys have any questions that you want to ask me before we close out?
Yes, actually.
Yes, sir.
Would you mind doing like a quick? Okay, wait. How long was it supposed to be?
What do you mean? This class?
Yeah.
Till 3 o'clock. Well, 2:55-ish or whatever. I have a call right after this.
Oh, okay. Well, no, then actually.
No, what was the question? What was the question?
Well, no. I'm sorry. I didn't really have a question. I was just gonna say, I was gonna ask you to go back over that, like, real quick. That so as far as the entry, because we did take this trade. I remember we took a GBP AUD trade, and we entered. I was wondering, like, when was a good re-entry point if we missed the initial, because I couldn't see your arrow.
Great question. So you're talking about alternative entries, right? Alternative entries is something that you do want to look for if you missed the initial trade, right? If we missed this one, like for example, if we missed this trade and it came back up here, this would be my alternative entry, right? That's called an override, right? An override means if it didn't make my perfect entry point, but it still allowed me to enter, that's called an override. Or if I have to make an alternative way to enter, that's called an override, right? So you always want to look for another form of entry, right? You just wait for another pullback. If you missed this one, then you wait for another pullback for you to enter again. You just look for candlestick formations, right? So for example, if this were to happen, you came in and then it spiked up, right? And then it spiked back down. then you're looking for another pullback. Boom. Look for pullbacks. I see rejection here, right? I see rejection here. Maybe drop down some time frame. See if you find an engulfing or see if you find a pin bar somewhere, right? Boom. There's an engulfing right there. So that would have been my entry. Does that make sense, Andre?
Yes. So you're looking for an engulfing candle to close, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. So after that engulfing candle closes, no matter what, you
I take it
the
every
trade.
time.
Okay.
Take it every time, no questions asked. And Dwayne, yes, we are going over swing trading in the next boot camp. We've had so many inquiries on how to swing trade. We're going to have a whole section. The whole boot camp is going to be revolving primarily on swing trading, but we're also going to be touching on intraday scalping. You know, the swing trades can also be used for scalping. So that's what we're going to be going over as well. You said we can find entry for swing on 30 minutes. Want the stop loss to be tighter or too tight? No, it won't be too tight if you go on the 30-minute. And you can swing with the $50 account. I've swung an account with $15, so I know you can do it, right? This account that I have here now was just at $40, so I know you can do it. Do you ever go live and trade? Yes, we go live every week, Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this exact same link. But no, the stop loss will not be tighter. It's the exact, a high is a high, a low is a low, no matter what, right? So if you end up having like a 10 pip stop loss, then you had the best entry. If you had like a 20 pip stop loss, for me, anything that's 55 pips and below is a good entry. Do you swing trade and intraday scalp at the same time? I swing trade and intraday. That's usually my ways of trading. Intraday swing. So like I took this Ethereum trade. I called this out on one of our live trade sessions yesterday. This was a day trade. Literally, I got in here and I got out literally within how many hours? So what was this? The 21st, I got out literally one day. Not even, right? So this was at 1 p.m. and I got out around, it was around here, 17. So that's like what? 5 p.m. the next day. So roughly around 20 whatever hours, if that, right? So like no matter what, it's within the day, right? It's within that one day. Now you have different ways. It can be within 24 hours, or it can be like if you took a trade now at 2:51, you don't get out. I mean, you will get out at 11:59 p.m. Right? So at the end of the day is when you get out, no matter what, if you win or lose. I used to trade like that, and it was profitable. It definitely was profitable. But I found myself wanting more results. I just wasn't able to grow my account the way that I'm able to grow my account now, right? So I wanted to be able to grow it just in a better way, in a quicker way. Get my strategy with you people more. For sure, bro. Make sure you guys get on our sessions. Make sure you get on this boot camp that we got going on. If you entered at the wrong time, is it best to take a loss and re-enter at a better time? Depending on, you never want to take a loss. So get that out of your head. You don't want to take a loss. If you miss the entry, you miss the entry. Just look for another way of getting in that follows your plan. Okay? I want to make sure you guys understand what I'm saying. Like if you're a retest trader and you miss the initial retest, then look for another retest. If you're a breakout trader and you missed the initial breakout, look for another breakout. Right? Don't just try to enter just because you missed. And then you take a loss and then you're like, oop, well, I took a loss. Let's try to look. It was unnecessary. Now you just took an unnecessary loss. You got an Ethereum trade as a buy limit? No, I just got in as market execution. I saw this bullish flag here. Boom, saw this engulfing. Boom, it pulled back a little bit, and then it took off. That's all I saw. Quick intraday trade, literally quick, like super quick. Got in and got out, literally. To me, that's a scalp. You see what I'm saying? To me, that's a scalp because I'm used to holding trades for weeks. So I only got, that wasn't even a day for me. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to scalp like this, by all means. What is the next call about? My calls are going to be strictly about swing trading, right? Or market structure, one of the two, right? To get, like I said, the more in-depth one, that's going to be 8 to 10 hours long, is the one in July 18th, if that's what you're referring to. So just go to chartslayer.com. I'll put it in the chat for you guys. Go to chartslayer.com if you want to be a part of that. We're also going to be giving away a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of gear. We're going to be giving away the next tickets for the next boot camp. That we have the boot camp every 2 months. So let's make, we want to make sure you guys are definitely profitable, But do we have any other questions before we close out? When you got that started, which educator did you for? I went to the educators that were there on, it was called IML at the time, are no longer there, but the person that I follow now is Steven Salindor. So if you guys want to check out Steven Salindor, that's my personal mentor. So definitely go check him out if you want to learn how to swing trade too. He is aggressive, so don't get scared. But that'll close out everything. His name is Steven Salindor, so I'll type it in the chat for you. But that'll close out everything for you guys. Like I said, I appreciate you guys for being on here. I wanted to do definitely a call that revolved around swing trading. Get the gist of it. We will have a much more in-depth session in the boot camp. But I appreciate you guys for being on here. But you guys have an excellent trading week. Let's make this money. Okay? Have a great day.
You too, bro.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, you guys, I appreciate you for actually hearing out and lasting this long on how to swing trade. I know you guys, and this is literally the top question that I get on a regular basis. So I really hope you guys really appreciated this. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button, comment below, and definitely hit that notification bell so you can always get notified when this video or any other video comes out. Peace.